Hello again to another Agakala reaction. Today we will be watching this magic yellow tree rapidly restores dead land from Leave Curious. And something it's a channel that already made some reactions to. Not entirely sure, but let's just jump into it and see what tree is it. And to me it looks like it could be birch maybe? Or let's see, we'll learn I guess.
There's a magical yellow tree which can transform barren empty land into a thriving young forest in just
it's
a
not
matter
birch,
of
it's called differently. It's
This is one of Earth's oldest, largest,
no, I can't
and
even
most
remember the
versatile
Polish name for it
trees,
now.
growing up in the freezing Arctic Circle right the way through to the warmer climates of northern Africa. Today, using its magic, it kickstarts nature restoration almost anywhere. However, over history, this is a tree which has declined, especially here in Britain, where it's been pushed very close to the brink of extinction. But as with most forces of nature, this is an incredibly resilient tree, and when shown a little helping hand, it can lead the way for nature's recovery. We are of course looking at the aspen. So one of the easiest ways of identifying aspen
forgot about that type of
is by this.
Yeah, the sound of it is really nice, yeah.
The aspen leaves, they flutter and they move on the wind. Much like its Latin name tremula, the leaves, they flutter, they tremble on the wind. And the reason why they do this, well, we think it does this so it can maximize its photosynthetic.
There was a time when we would be like listening overnight some kind of sounds from YouTube, I believe, and I would love to hear that. The sounds of aspen leaves, like going on the walk as well, and that's the sound what I kind of think about when I think about like forest. So yeah. Ooh.
Area, and when it comes to identifying an aspen leaf, it has these beautiful wavy margins that form kind of like a circular shape, and there's a clue in the stalk. They are flat on both sides. It's almost like someone rolled out a sausage and then just went like this. And the leaves, they will be green in the summer, but in the autumn they turn this brilliant yellow. The other way of recognizing it is how the trees grow and how the forest forms. Aspen grows in stands. So typically what happens is that it suckers. So what's happening here is this young aspen which is coming up here, this is growing from the root systems of the trees around it. Suckering is just when the tree is able to grow up from the roots, and that's why it forms in these stands. When it grows like this, aspen is in fact cloning itself. And while I'm in quite a small stand, they can get really big indeed. This is Pando, the world's largest aspen stand in the US. All of these stems you see are genetically just one tree. Beneath the ground they are interconnected with the same root system. Technically it's the world's largest tree by weight and also landmass. It covers an area the size of 43 football pitches, and we estimate it to weigh around 6,000 tons. Pando has also been alive for a very long time. Through DNA analysis, it's believed to be somewhere between 16,000 and 80,000 years old. A seemingly timeless life, a true example of aspen's uniqueness and resilience. However, the strength of Pando and of aspen globally is being put to the test. Just before we look at the challenges facing
look
aspen,
at this place.
I think we should understand
flowers,
why this
trees.
tree
Can you
is
imagine
just
how
so
that looks
marvelous.
in
For nature
fall?
restoration, it's a dream tree. It can grow by 80 centimeters a year, and it's happy in almost all conditions. When you couple this with its ability to grow from its own roots, it can quite literally walk through a landscape. A true pioneer in every sense of the word. But aspen is also pretty special because it's a keystone species. In part because of the rate in which it can transform an area, but also because of the species it supports. So I think one of the most exciting places where aspen can be found and where we really want to see more of it is next to our rivers. So aspen here is just forming. Look, the reason why I think this is because aspen is an incredibly palatable species. Lots of herbivores enjoy eating it. In fact, you know what? I might give it a shot. Let's give it a go. Where's an aspen leaf? Here we go. Beautiful leaf, beautiful looking leaf. I mean, that is just stunning. So beavers, they absolutely love aspen.
No, not really. No.
I don't so much. I feel like I need to spend a bit more time out here, getting a quiet taste. Maybe it's too late in the year, maybe.
Yeah, maybe some young leaves, yeah.
But beavers, they love it. Aspen, it's a keystone species. Beavers, they are a keystone species. When they come together It's just like a recipe made for nature restoration. Now, I'm no botanist, but there is an incredibly rare moss which grows only on aspen, and it's known as the aspen bristle moss. It was thought to have been extinct, but it was rediscovered. I want to keep my eye out for it, but if you see it in any of the B-roll, just be like, hey Rob, at minute 4:27, that's aspen bristle moss. And the aspen hoverfly is another species which relies solely on aspen. It actually lives in the dead wood of the species. What it does is it feeds during its larval stage on the trees. And look, here's the thing, if aspen goes away, so does this incredible species. And when it comes to saving species from the brink of extinction or revitalizing damaged ecosystems, rewilding organisation Planet Wild really are making some amazing progress. I'm so proud to be one of the more than 10,000 strong members now, all contributing to nature restoration together. But it's also a privilege to partner with an organisation.
Definitely made few reactions to Planet Wild's videos. One of the recent ones was about how rewilding of the steppe in America is good for environment, obviously.
Crowdfunding for nature. If you check out their YouTube channel, you can see all of their projects, from protecting forests, endangered species, and supporting oceans. One of my favourites was their recent mission to support Paolo, a fisherman who's been battling the destructive bottom trawlers destroying the Mediterranean's rich aquatic life. With the support of Planet Wild, they were able to fund the creation of these massive marble sculptures, which were then sunk down to the sea floor, and they act as a barrier to the evil nets of the trawlers, and in time, this art will merge with the marine life that it protects. As a member myself, I love that my money goes toward not only creative and worthwhile restoration efforts, but I also love that I get to see the impact here on YouTube.
I keep seeing that
in order to start helping nature, you don't have
my
to give
YouTube
much.
page, not page, but YouTube homepage,
when we come together,
I haven't watched
it all
it
adds
yet.
up and it starts to make a difference. And here's a special offer for you. The first 150 people to sign up using the link below in the comments and in the description, you'll get your first month of membership paid for by me. This way, you can be supporting nature restoration right now without paying anything. And if you want to cancel, you can do this at any time. I support Planet Wild because I know that when we come together, we'll start to make a difference. That's why I invite you to join me and become a Planet Wild member today. And as for restoring aspen and making sure that this incredible species can come back widespread, not just in Scotland, I like to see this more in Britain. You don't get this where I'm from down south. I would love to see this tree everywhere. In order to do that, we need to understand what's been causing the main problems for this species. The reason why aspen has struggled in Scotland is for kind of like two main reasons, and they kind of work together. So the first is how it reproduces. We know that it suckers and it grows up, but we also know that it disperses on the wind. With these two things in mind, what you've also got going on here in Scotland is an overabundant deer population. There's also way too many sheep as well. And with aspen being very palatable, when it does sucker and it does come up and you have these tasty fresh shoots,
they're gonna be
just get
eaten.
gobbled up.
And I'm guessing the problem here is the fact that I don't know how. I don't think there are any natural predators for deer in UK or Ireland, isn't it? But the biggest, isn't the badger the biggest kind of like predator in Ireland? Or is it fox? I can't remember now.
And it can't reproduce in this way. And what that means is that you have these mature stands of aspen which just can't rejuvenate, they can't regenerate, and they die off and they become more and more isolated from one another, and it means that they can't disperse on the wind, they can't find each other. Contributing to aspen's decline is also the fact that in Scotland it struggles to produce seed. We believe this to be predominantly down to a changing climate. Until recent times, aspen was not a favourable tree amongst people, with its quivering and trembling leaves forming the basis of this bad reputation. In Scotland, it took on the nickname of Old Wives' Tongue because of its fluttering leaves, thought to be gossiping on the wind.
I love that
It was
sound,
also said
though.
that aspen was used to create the cross to crucify Jesus.
Really?
And its leaves have been trembling ever since. So when it comes to restoring aspen, now I'm here in Glen Affric and I'm looking across, and that is such a vibrant bright yellow over there just clinging onto the mountainside. I think that is a lonely aspen. Identifying where the remaining aspen is important to not only take cuttings, collect seed, but also map and plan where new aspen can be planted. Restoration organisation Trees for Life have been getting creative, and they've actually been hand-pollinating male and female flowers in order for them to produce seed to then grow on a new generation of aspen. A few years ago I met Peter, who runs Ada, a nursery which ensures that Scotland's rare plants have a future. Ada's work for aspen has been extremely important, from identifying those remnant populations, taking cuttings and propagating them to ensure that these genetics are not lost. From this collection, over the past decade or so, Ada has planted over 1 million aspen all over Scotland. While there's still a very long way to go, this is a fantastic effort for a species we need to see colonising not just empty landscapes across Scotland, but also across Britain too. I'm from the southeast and I'd love to see aspen down here. Is aspen a tree which grows near you? Let me know down in the comments. If you've enjoyed learning about aspen in this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to Leave Curious if you want to learn more about nature restoration. And if you want to start supporting nature restoration, then please head over to Planet Wild and see what they can offer you. I've linked this down in the comments and the description. I'm going to spend a bit of time just exploring and taking in this amazing habitat. Thank you so much for watching. Leave Curious.
I'm not sure if there's any aspen groves. Well, I'm living in town, so I can't really, and with no car. And well, now I'm kind of finding that there is a bit of like a public transport going outside, so we might start using it because they kind of got like funding and things, so it's more of it as well, and it's easier to access. There's more. I'm digressing anyway. So I'm not sure if I ever seen any aspen here, but the sound is very recognizable. So I definitely would recognize it in like during the leafy times. What's the word for it? And that I would recognize it. Although I do not remember how aspen is actually called in. Why? No, wait. I think I do remember. Aspen in Polish is jesion, isn't it? In Polish. Oh, Oshika? Interesting. I thought that was the jesion. But I'm mistaken. Aspen tree. Da-da-da. British trees. That's the wrong page. I'm sorry. I'm very aspen. Okay, let's go to different languages and we can see there's only 5 languages for that and there is no Polish word, so it's a simple English though. Okay, Chinese aspen, Korean aspen, big-tooth aspen, Japanese aspen, Eurasian aspen, and quaking aspen, trembling aspen, northern and western North America. Okay, so let's see the Eurasian aspen. That would be, yeah, whole Europe and most of the Asia as well. And there you go, they have those more languages, Polish there too. And Topola, not Asian, so I was totally mistaken in how it's called. Topola drżąca, what means trembling, and Oshika as well. I did hear those names, but I'm not that great with actually. The first thing I was thinking is wierzba, where it is actually says here that it belongs to the family of wierzbowate. Okay, let's go back to English. It'll be easier for me. So that Populus tremula, commonly called aspen, common aspen, Eurasian aspen, European aspen, or quaking aspen, is a species of popular native to cool temperature regions of the Old World. It's a deciduous tree growing to 40 meters, it's not bad, tall by 10 meters broad, with a trunk attaining over 1 meter in diameter. The bark is pale greenish gray and smooth on young trees with dark gray. Kingdom. Family Salicaceae are the willow family of flowering plants. So it's willow, yeah. So I was kind of thinking at it, but obviously there's multiple ones. Ooh, look at this picture. Here you go. Look at this picture. Isn't that cool? I would love to have like this kind of thing. Like if I have like there should be more trees like that. Oh, that looks cool. Okay, anyway. Do you know anything about aspen? Did you ever see aspen? Do you like the sound that makes when you kind of go into like a groove of aspen and it just between they do make that sound. I really like that sound, so yeah. It's kind of reminds me, the sound of like a, I don't want to say just summer, but it kind of reminds me of my childhood summers. and that and the crickets in a really hot summer. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching, and I see you tomorrow. Bye.